Check, check. Doing a check. Hello, hello, hello. It should be coming through by now. How's my volume on my audio? Is it okay? Okay. The microphone bars are not very strong tonight, which is weird, but how some nights they are and some nights they aren't. So, how's everybody doing? It's Wednesday, getting through the week here. Wednesday night, obviously Thursday for some of you. Week's pushing to its end, at least the trading week. Yes, Zoe and Glenn's anniversary. Yay! Ready for some woo woo. Motivated for some of your class. Which part are you motivated for? uh, you're just motivated for some of it. The other part, not so much motivated. Oh my. So, kind of quiet tonight. You guys aren't. All right. Anybody brand new in here? I have tickets. I have hotel rooms. No, we're just having fun. Vegas, boo. Yeah. Let's see. I've stayed at the Rio, I think, twice before, as I recall. They have a very nice, probably the largest seafood buffet you'll ever see. So, for those of you who like seafood, you will enjoy their seafood buffet. And they got everything there. Lots of good entertainment. And interesting that we talk about chart woo woo. They have a club there, and of course, I haven't been there for a few years, so who knows if it's still the same. But the last time I was there, they had a club, a real nice club, way up top called Voodoo. So maybe we'll do some woo woo in the Voodoo. Uh, I don't know if I still. Um, hmm. I'd go searching for that at some point. All right. So, Voodoo's still there? Okay. Cool. Oh, wow. Awesome. She's upset because she's not going. She'll be pushing her 9 months at that point, getting close to it. 8 plus. Oh, so you can go and always have a baby in Vegas. That'd be fun to celebrate. All right, anybody brand new tonight? Anybody that's not been with us before in this session? Pass. Aw. All right. Well, welcome to the new folks. This is the Scans, Forks, and Fibos channel on the Forex side. We teach in the new paradigm. We trade in the new paradigm. That means we're not the old paradigm, which is pretty much everywhere else. So one of the main advantages of the new paradigm is we're going to make 3 times, 5 times, maybe as much as 10 times the profit in the same trades that most of our peers take. Same account balance, same downside risk in the trade. So we're not over leveraging, we're not over risking. It's because we use precision entries with small stop losses. Yeah, we should get a pool going. Good idea, Richard. Wah, wah, wah. We all know man flu is much worse than delivering. Hello from Tijuana. Tijuana. So, for those brand new, the new paradigm has a lot going for it. Not only do we make more profit per trade, more profit per pip, which makes us more profit per trade, we'll typically make more profit, more pips, because we'll get in trades sooner. We have precision. Our stops are very tight. The head game is very strong in the new paradigm. It works with your learning and trading, not against it like it does in the old paradigm. And for those that are brand new here, we do have a resources page here for our group. And interestingly enough, our Facebook group is called iMarkets Live, Scans, Forks, and Fibos. So you can go to Facebook in their search bar and type in iMarkets Live, Scans, Forks, and Fibos, and you will find our group. It's an open public group, but you do have to request membership. I generally get into that membership 2 or 3 times a day. So pretty much within the 24 hours that you request membership, as long as you're not in 7,852 groups, you generally get in. There is a huge pin post in this group and tons of information in there. One of the big things you'll see in there is we have some videos free for your use. Some are about risk and reward in trading, which you need to see because that'll tell you why we do the things we do in this group, in this room, in this session, whatever you want to call it. Okay. We also have some baseline training in there. And one of the things you'll see in there is a video called Why You Might Consider Using Pitchforks in Your Trading. And you need to watch that video too, because it will take from what you learned about risk in the previous videos and show you now why pitchforks are one of our main tools and why they are. Speaking of pitchforks, since you're an active member in IML, I give away one of my training courses. It's a course on pitchfork mastery. And there's probably a total of 10, 11, 12, I don't even know what the count is, maybe 11 modules in there. 45 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever. So there's about 10 hours of training there. It is a pitchfork mastery course. I'll take you from soup to nuts. And then you get to come back to our group and post your attempts at creating a pitchfork. And we will school you, we will help you, we will teach you what not to do in trying to put a pitchfork on your chart. And you'll note we have a very good coaching staff in there. Admins serve as our coaches for the group, and most of those traders have been with me several years. And they know what they're doing with pitchforks. And so they help me. They do the bulk of the work, to be honest, in helping you learn how to do pitchforks right. So one of the things I'll tell you right away that's different between us and the old paradigm is we're going to help you learn what not to do. Most everywhere else you go, you're going to be presented material and you're going to try and have to get it right. You're going to have to take notes and watch and try and get it right. Try and win. Get that demo account going and try and win. And that's exactly why most people fail in the old paradigm. Because you're not going to guess right, and then it's going to work against you mentally, emotionally. This thing called your sensory information gateway as a facilitator for filtering out and filtering in information based on what's in your subconscious is not going to handle the overload emotionally. So we take a different approach, and your demo trading here is not about winning. It's about a process to learn what not to do in your trading. And so you will learn what to do by learning what not to do. That requires your participation. So in terms of our pitchforks, you'll see that. All you have to do is go to the group, join the group, and then browse that group, and you'll see the kind of support you get as a trader. The group serves as a support group for these sessions. So the training I do here and the training that goes on in the group is supported in that group. So it's a very active group in terms of that. We're all about learning, and we're all about community and helping each other. So we have a very active process. So if you participate in that process, I guarantee you'll move forward. Very good success rate with our traders here the last 3 or 4 months for picking up pitchforks and learning how to use them. Oh, you'll never be perfect in the first 4 months. It'll take years, to be honest, to get, to optimize what you can do with forks. Look, I've been trading forks for 10 years, and there's still stuff I learn, not every day, but now and then I still pick up stuff. I read articles, I read books, I watch trades posted, so I try and pick up stuff as I can. Body of knowledge, we never stop learning as traders. But pitchforks give distinct advantages to traders right out of the gates because, first of all, you can back test them. You don't need live data. The pitchforks are drawn on wicks, and so you have the wicks on your chart, so you can go back in history and draw pitchforks. If you want to learn how to draw pitchforks, the data is there. I haven't seen too many people do that because generally there's enough data now to draw forks. But if you find, I just can't draw any forks, hey, there's nothing wrong with taking a fork from December and submitting it to the group. As long as it's not one I've already drawn. Or Tim or Zoe or whomever. Oh, I like people coming in hot. So, and we like to have a little fun. Every once in a while, we'll do videos just for the group and post them in the group. We'll have pop quizzes sometimes just to test you and your RAS, your sensory information gateways. So we have fun while we learn. But anyway, join the group. I think Tim or Zoe has posted the actual Facebook address for it. And be sure to read through that pin post. There's a lot of detail there. You're not going to remember it all, but just remember the salient things. And please don't come in and try and spam our group. It will be the last time you post in our group and you'll be blocked permanently. And we've had people every week that come along and think they're going to sell some signals or whatever. And see you later, later. They ain't anywhere in sight anymore. Yeah, it's called OPM. Richard's pointing it out. You learn by looking at the other posts and everybody else's stuff. And that's called OPM in our group. You learn from other people's mistakes. So as they trade and post and they get corrected, it's like additional instruction. You get to have access to that information. So it's a real good process that we have going here. It works. Any questions on our group information? Every Friday we have a contest winner. We give out $1,000 to the member who's referred the most people to our group that week. Oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe it's just you doing something good for your trading buds by getting them here in the group. Okay? People already left the session and are out busy trying to bring people to our session by Friday. So, yeah. So, no questions on our group information. Yay! I'll go back to the beginning. I do remind you that during the life of the session, for the next hour to 500 minutes, however long the session takes, um, that all material presented in this stream, in this video, is for educational instructional purposes only and should not be considered trade recommendations or investment advice. Past results in trading does not guarantee future performance. And to ensure you understand everything that I mean by that, you can see the full disclosures at my website, tradingdisclaimers.com. Learning to trade pitchforks will make you a master trader. Trust me. All right. So I'll open it up for some general questions about pitchforks, and then we'll just take a look around some of the pairs and see what's happening to existing forks, maybe draw some new ones. But if anybody has any big questions first, let's get them out of the way. That's our primary purpose. Wow, you guys must be just so sharp. Well, the best you can was posted in the group. I don't know if we saved that as a image for the files tab. I don't think we did. Maybe Zoe or remind me about that. I'll try and remember to put it as a image in the file directory. Um, Generally, we use for 10-minute forks we would use yellow. For 15-minute forks we would use orange. For 30-minute forks we would use that bright aqua blue. And for 4-hour forks, we would use a green, bright green, so you could tell it's green. And the purpose of that, most of us use trading view charts. And with the sync ability for drawing tools and visibility, you could then put your 30-minute chart or your 30-minute fork on your 30-minute chart, and it'll show up on your 15 and 1-minute charts if you so tell it to, with your visibility options. Well, I can't start from the top. I did start from the top. Starting from the top says join our group. Starting from the top says go to this site and register and take your free Pitchfork Mastery Training course. If you'd rather pay me for it, I'll give you the link that everybody else goes to. But if you'd like it free, use this link. The password, the user ID and the password are indeed case sensitive. So what you should do is take a screenshot of this screen right now. Yeah, I probably did it as a post. And that takes you into the land of pitchforks. So you'll learn pitchforks. As I said, it's about a 10-hour module or a 10-hour course. So you definitely get your money's worth for free as a bonus for coming to this session. From there, you just start practicing forks, setting them up. They're not trading them, you're just putting them on your charts. Because trust me, you'll probably get it wrong the first dozen forks you draw. And that's okay. We all did. As I say, nobody came out of mama's womb drawing pitchforks. It is a learned process. But you'll have a skill set that 99.9% of the other traders don't have. And since this is a zero-sum game, it's nice to have a strong competitive advantage over your fellow traders. Yeah, 1 hour would be gray. Oh, look at that. There you go. Upper level forks, 480 would be yellow. Daily is red. I don't think I've ever drawn a weekly fork. I've drawn daily forks in the past, but I don't think I've ever drawn a weekly or a monthly fork. Daily is usually more than I can handle. So, and then we do advanced things off the forks, guys. We take big time advantage of the harmonic scanner. I'll come back and answer the questions about the hits here in a second. We make big advantage of the harmonic scanner. We teach a very specific form of quick fire in here to creep, crawl, walk, run you through various money management schemes. And then right after quickfire, we put you into Charlie Delta forks, which join, snuggle up to the scan. And they are high percentage, high performing forks. So one of the things that we typically will do is get 2 to 3 trades more off the scan than just the scan trader, which is pretty cool. They're waiting for another scan. We're continuing to trade the next day, maybe even a week later, off a fork we drew off that one scan. Now, again, I said we're mostly trading view based, so we will copy the scan from the harmonic web scanner and put it on our trading view charts. So if it vaporizes off the scanner, we still have it on our charts. Are you telling me I spelled color with a U, Zoe? Mm, okay. There's a video that shows you how to copy from the scanner to your trading view charts. Here's the deal, guys. I will get you to the glory land, but you have to do your work. And it's great to ask questions. That's how you're going to get ahead instead of sitting silent. So I love questions, but I will also tell you if we've covered very some specific topics in detail and we've got videos on it, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to teach that again because I'm not going to bore hundreds of people who have already worked through that, seen the video, and it's there waiting for you to view. So, um, all right. So it's not just about pitchforks, it's about very specific pitchforks with Charlie Delta X ray alpha forks, which are built right off the harmonic scans. Now, in the pin post here, see it says see pin post. In the pin post in our group, there are a number of videos. I told you there's ones about risk reward, there's one that talks about why you should consider using pitchforks. We also have a very high end training on quickfire with multiple money management schemes and Charlie Delta pitchforks. It's one training session because they marry each other, so it's good to have that all at once. All right, so let me go back up and answer a few of these questions. Is a third hit to a trend line good enough confirmation to enter on without any other stack probabilities? Well, you know, I mean, are you looking for the path of least resistance or do you want to be a master trader? So, what's going to end up happening is you will learn as we move forward, because you're going to be one of my students, so you will get this, how to do traps. And traps are where you do things that price typically naturally goes to versus just hunting trades. And so it depends on what time frame you're talking about, but typically in the 15-30 minute range, if you stack your probabilities, you will have better success. So on a trend line, there's certain things we can do to know it's going to be a good hit. A third hit on a trend line by itself generally is good enough reason to take the trade. It's a high probability trade. You're not going to win all of them, but to see the difference is when you lose with us, you lose very small, 3 to 5 pips. And so even though you put 2% to a 10 pip stop loss, when you lose about 0.7, zero point 0.8, maybe as much as 1%, but not the full 2%. But on this positive side, because you put 2% to a 10 pip stop loss, every 10 pips you make, you're making 2%. So it doesn't take very many pips to make a whole bunch of money. All right, moving on. Don't be overwhelmed. That's just your subconscious mind trying to sabotage you. Oh, this is too confusing. I better go somewhere else. Don't buy into that. We're going to work on your head game in here big time. We'll spend as much, if not more, time on the head game than we do technicals because it's a bigger part of trading than technicals are. Most newer traders don't understand that yet, but you will in time, trust me. So, Pitchfork course, Quickfire course, Charlie Delta trading course. You just giving it all, man. You just get it all here. Third hit on a trend line is a trade. If you can amp that up with Fibo work, with pitchforks, and create energy points, then it makes it even stronger. But third hit on a trend line is a trade. Now, in saying that, because I don't want people to quote me out of context, we typically are looking for trend lines on the bottoms for upward pointing movement and trend lines for the tops for sells and downward trends. If you're going to trade against those trends, you need to have very good stack probabilities. That could also mean there's a history sitting there staring in front of you. The last 3 times it hit the bottom in a sell fork or in a sell channel, it still went up 20 pips. Well, now you have precedence. But you don't just take a sell and a buy channel or a buy and a sell channel without having that precedence or other probabilities in your favor, such as energy points, Fibos, etc. Yeah, exactly. Steve said, put your entire account in, 50% risk with all the margin that you have, and go for broke. Someone will say it, trust me. I see it all the time, taken out of context. Yeah, no one would do that. All right, so yeah, three hits off a trend line are fine. Now, there's a difference between um, a validating an entire best fit fork based on two or three hits on one of the lines. Generally speaking, generally, in the old days, I used to say F6, F8. Who's who's more than 21? Who knows what F6, F8 is? Come on, Richard, you should know. Yeah, computer keys above the numbers. Um, yeah, in the early days of Word, in the early days of WordStar was the dominant word processor before Word finally took it over. But they both used F6, F8. F6 was your keyboard shortcut for bold, and F8 was the keyboard short for underline. So when talking for emphasis, I would say something like, do this F6, F8. So, still waiting for how long? There are some browsers that are going to be challenging. There are some antivirus software, firewall stuff that will be challenging. But if you registered and it gave you the confirmation link to validate your registration and you didn't get the email back after 24 hours, PM me directly on Facebook. All right. So the challenge with a pitchfork is, if you get three hits on an upper parallel or three hits on the lower parallel, that's a trend line trade, but it doesn't validate your pitchfork as a best fit. We'd still need to see something, with two or three hits on a upper parallel, lower parallel, we'd still like to see something on the median or the lower parallel in order to validate the fork as a best fit. Traditional pitchforks you can take on the first bounce. Depends on the size of the fork, where you're going to put your stop loss in regards to your median on median bounce. We don't use MACD in here. If you know how to use MACD, you can surely augment what we teach in here. The only indicator we principally use is stochastics RSI But if you're trading other models that use RSI or MACD, you can keep them on your charts. I'm not going to tell you to take them off. Um, can you show us more on divergence? Yep, as I said, go to the pin post. There's a number of videos there. I'd watch them in order. I would not do the quickfire and Charlie Delta training until you've gone through the pitchfork course. But in the pin post, which is very long, there's a little module that says videos. And they start out with risk. They start out with why you might want to consider using a pitchfork, blah, blah, blah. Um, so I had a question about divergence. Oh, man. All right. So if you're using RSI as an indicator, um, let me zoom in here. Wow, I think it's working against me here. So there's a strategy out there being taught, and I'll just use a piece of it here. So this is an M's and W's strategy. You can see the W here. At the time of the trade, we're looking for this. So you're looking for the Zorro pattern first. All right, that's that strategy. We may teach it in here eventually. But it does use divergence. And divergence needs to be measured like this. If I'm looking at these 2 points here, then I'm going to measure divergence using the low points of the RSI, which happen to be closed values. Wow, how did that happen? That's how that happened. We would use these closed values here and draw a line connecting these two lows. And then over here, we draw a line connecting the close positions of the bottoms, not the wicks. Give you false read. And the reason being, this is closed data in your RSI. So you cannot use, in this case, a low to measure your divergence. Note, if you did, you'd get a wrong reading. This is why it's important to understand that. If you did wicks, you'd have this pointing down and this pointing up, and you'd say, oh, it's qualified. So if you have them pointing in like this is a lower high, a lower low, and this is a higher low, that's divergent. It signals a reversal. In this case, we really don't have that because we can't use wicks. We have to use bodies. And there's not enough divergence there to say that is divergence. There's not enough opposing direction there to call that one divergent. This is pointing up and this is pointing up a little. Same situation over here. Measuring candle closes and RSI closes, not enough there. To call that divergent. Same thing over here. You start get to a point where you can see it without drawing it. Well, depends on what model you're trading. Different traders use different Bollingers. Different bands, different values for the Bollingers. Um, Christopher Terry jacks his up to 50. This particular set is set at 34. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll through here, but I'm having trouble. For quick fire, it is 50. 50 and 2. Are there statistical probabilities embedded in the pitchfork as it relates to future price movement? From the start of a traditional pitchfork, which that is not. For a traditional pitchfork, we're going to go from the closest point to us, the swing high. We're going to come down to the swing low, and we do that combination, swing high to swing low. This is one of the things you'll learn in the course. When you go, my pen wants to stop writing on me. When we go swing high to swing low, we then go back to the previous swing low for the pitchfork. So swing high to swing low, and then back to this swing low. Notice the fork is pointing up, and that's because you came down to a swing low. It's called a swing low because we don't expect price to go lower than that. Price should go higher from that. Nonetheless, per Alan Andrews, who invented this beast, there is a statistic that says from this swing low, there's an 80% chance of price getting to the median. It doesn't tell us when, it just says it's going to get there. Beyond that, there are not percentages associated with the fork, just high likelihoods. So if we bounce off here, there's a high likelihood it's going to come down here. And if it gets through it, checks it, there's a high likelihood it's going to get up here. Here's the difference, and this is why you have to pay some attention in here. Big difference between the old paradigm and the new paradigm. In the old paradigm, you want to know where price is going. We don't care in here. In the old paradigm, you want to do predictions and forecasts and whatnot. And the reason you do that is because you don't know where the hell price is right now. Nonetheless, try and figure out where it's going. But your indicators lag, which is why you have big fat stop losses. And so in the old paradigm, traders die to try and know where price is going. In here, we don't care because we know where it's going when it gets there. With real-time indicators, we know. See, that's just reality. You have a pitchfork. It's a real-time indicator. When price gets there and it bounces, that's a trade. Until then, I don't have a trade. We do not do order entries on pitchforks. We can set an alert to bring it to the chart so we can know to take it, or to bring us to our phone, or however you're trading. But we don't do limit orders, or we don't do order entries here. Now, we don't have rule of thumbs. We have definitive money management systems, and we have several. Why? Because you do that in the old paradigm. What if price just comes up here and overruns the fork? See, trust me. Been trading for 15 years. That's old paradigm trading. And when you do an order entry for there, you surely don't have a 5 pip stop loss. Trust me. Been there, been taught by many old paradigm traders. We are precision traders, and when we're precision traders, we will make 3 times, 5 times, and 10 times the profit in the same trade with the same starting account and the same percentage risk in the trade as an old paradigm trader will. And you don't have to do that but a couple of times and compound it, and you'll see we smoke them and leave them in our dust. If you want to do entry orders, go to the old paradigm, but we're not going to do it in this group. The old paradigm deals with zones. They don't deal with precise lines. Show me somebody that has a 60-minute or a 240-minute system where they trade with entry orders where they have a 5 pip stop loss or a 10 pip stop loss. You won't find it. Nonetheless, the question was about the statistic of the embedded in the forks. It's right here. It's the one from the swing low, from a traditional fork. Not best fits. Not bounces after it gets there. But 80% to get to the median, in this case from the swing low. All right. Let me go to other questions. We don't trail stops either. got no answers. Once it goes more than a handful of pips past the green line, it's no longer a quick fire trade. It's something else. There's other support and resistance that you don't see at that point. So if it turns, oh, but I saw one go 7 pips past the green line, Steve, and it turned around and went 100 pips. That's fine. It's just there was support and resistance there you didn't see. It wasn't the scan that caused it to flip. No, you need to start with go back to the recording and watch all the information we gave out at the beginning about how to get the free pitchfork course, what videos that we have at our Facebook group that you get free, etc. Depends on the size of the scan. If you start, I mean, we're optimally looking for 80 to 85 pip scans as a minimum. Now you could trade scans smaller than that. When I say minimum, I'm talking the CD leg. You can trade quickfire scans less than that, but you have to adjust your expectation on what you're going to do because there's mathematical probabilities on what you expect to make pip wise with the scan. And it's based on a percentage of the CD leg. So you have to pay attention to the CD leg. So I understand people have works and jobs and families and obligations and whatnot, but we give all this information out at the beginning of every class. So if you missed it, you can always go back and watch the recording of the beginning of the class. But I'm not the guy that's going to be giving out the same information 20 times during the session because the people that came on time already heard it. But we do give away a free mastery pitchfork course, about 10 hours long, that everybody else in the world is paid for. But you get it free as an IML member. And there's other video training in there, including the quick fire with all the money management schemes and Charlie Delta X-Ray Alpha pitchforks. Well, I'm going to tell you, pitchforks are the most precise form of trading for the average trader. And they can be traded standalone, but they really shine when you put them on other systems. There's no confirmation email for signing up to a group on Facebook. You just get approved. Yes, if you're brand new to Forex and you've never traded anything before, you need to go through the IML Academy. And the first live sessions you should be going to are Forex 101 or Forex Basics. And that'll reinforce what you're learning in the academy. But don't worry, we're not going anywhere. We'll be here. So when you get through the academy and the basics of, see, you can't draw pitchforks unless you understand things like risk reward. You can't draw pitchforks unless you know things like what support and resistance are. You can't draw pitchforks unless you know what things like Fibonacci clusters are. They're all basic stuff. So once you have the basics down, then you could start throwing things like pitchforks in it. As far as other strategies, we trade other strategies. You can trade other strategies. The pitchforks will get you in earlier and more precisely than the strategies typically do on their own. All right. So back to the quick fire trading. So a lot of the how much you're going to let it go past and still take the trade depends on the size of the fork. And then, you know, as you get better, you will have more understanding of how to do Fibonacci's, how to have other support and resistance, so you can see what causes the flip once it passes the scan. Not always, but a good percentage of the time. Whereas the pure scan trader, they don't see that. So they have a big guessing game there. Same deal if it's short of the green line. So you can't do all the idiosyncrasies and all the nuances and present them all at once to a brand new trader, because they'd be overwhelmed by the 50,000 page PDF. So you got to creep, crawl, walk, run, which again means you have to have the right expectation about what it takes to be a trader. And those of you looking for the Holy Grail, thinking you're going to jump into a session and next week be trading, well, you can be, but you're just not going to get very far with your trading. Yeah, we do have a roadmap. So for your brand new and you sign up for the group, you will see the roadmap in the group files. It shows you exactly the path or journey you should be taking as a trader. Now that goes in complements the IML universe, which has replaced IML Train. So it just depends on how you've been exposed to how your team has brought you into the trading world. I'm not trying to replace your team's training, but we have a method. If your team doesn't have specific models that they teach you initially, then you could do what we do. If you have a team training and they do have specific models, then as you master those models, you're going to want to expand your knowledge. And I would surely recommend Pitchforks and the advanced Fibo work we're about to do. All right. No other questions. The pitchfork line, and I mean the the green entry line on the harmonic scans is the last line of the PRZ, of the potential reversal zone of a scan. There are other lines in front of it that IML doesn't paint. Most scans in absolute reality will, when the price and the D finally get up and tag the entry line, they've already passed lines that you're not aware are there. And this is typically on most scans, other than a like a 5-0, actually even a shark. So all your other traditional scans, you know, the Gartleys, the crabs, the butterflies, etc. This green line is typically XAD. So they take the X, the A, and they apply based on the pattern the Fibonacci for the D, and then they draw this green line where that is. But there's lines before that, trust me. There's typically a line down here that is, you know, AB equals CD, whatever. And then there's typically a line here for, um, you know, XBC. There might be another line for XCA. They don't actually fall on top of each other. I present it that way sometimes because in the reality, most of the time, the scan strives to get to the XAD, which is the final point of that zone. So in reality, Scott Carney has a PRZ that looks like that. It doesn't have a limit on the width. And so technically for him, price has to come up and tag the the top line. It has to tag that top line. It's called the termination bar. It's got a wick through it, etc. And because it has to hit that line for there to be a trade, what IML does is say we don't need to confuse people by having all these other lines there. So they just don't paint them because touching them per Scott Carney isn't a scan trade. Oops, should have been green. Okay. So you've already reached like the top of the top when price actually comes in and tags that and then bounces. Yeah, you don't want to include negatives in your statement because um, in terms of how your crew in your subconscious mind, especially when it gets to your gateways, um, how it interprets no's and negatives. Um, and from a true programming standpoint, you also want to ask questions instead of making statements in the present tense. So when you say things like, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire," the way your mind processes that is, he's saying he wants to be a millionaire. That means he's not. And since he's not a millionaire, we don't show him things that millionaires do and say and hear because he doesn't want to hear it because he's not a millionaire. And so you don't say, "I want something." That's not the way your mind, because I want $1 million. See, that shows lack. It means you don't have it now. So, of course, then the years move on and people say, well, then put it in the form of a positive statement. You want to say, "I am a millionaire." So now you're programming your mind to not shut away things that would show you how to be a millionaire because you're declaring that you are, and so your crew thinks you are. So your SIG, your RES adjusts to show you things that would make you a millionaire instead of declining them and avoiding them and screening them out. So then years go on, and Noah St. John comes along, does some neuroscience studies, and he says the brain loves to be questioned. And so you go from "I want to be a millionaire" to affirmations where you say things like "I am a millionaire" to afformations with an O, afformations, to where you say things like "Why am I a millionaire?" Your mind will answer that question, and in trying to answer it, it will bring the things to you that you need to see. So it's a combination of self programming and a little bit of law of attraction all thrown in one. Good book to read on that is Noah St. John, Secret Code of Success, and then he's got some affirmation work. He's got a CD. He's got little other stuff on affirmations. I would encourage you to dig into that along with The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy and The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson if you haven't gotten into that stuff just yet. No, because for the most part, newer traders don't know how to do multiple time frame analysis, so we're not worried about we're not worried about what the daily's doing for 15-minute trades or 30-minute trades. Okay. Your brain will go to work to try and answer it, crypto. Your brain will go to work to try and answer it. Scans are for the beginning of where we are. We're doing 15-minute scans, and they support longer term trades as they exist. You don't have to do work. There's also, and we'll learn more about scans. Right now, we're just getting everybody up to speed. But there are some scans that are continuation scans and some scans that are reversal scans, even when we think of all the scans as reversals. The D is always the reversal point. But that point may be a true reversal or it may be the end of a retrace, and so it's really marking the start of the continuation of the move. So various scans, you know, have specific functions in that realm, but doesn't really matter. They are reversing in compliance with whatever upper trend is there. So here's the problem with trends. If that line represents I won't even go as far as daily, a 4 hour trend, what's going to happen is, regardless of what that is, you may get at the 15-minute level scan that looks like that. And if that scan was X, A, B, C, D, that means from the D, we're expecting price to go like that. So if you the problem with the problem with the people that go by trends is the trend is your friend until the bend, which means this is a reversal pattern. And so it means that despite the fact that this trend is upward, it marks the end of it. So if you go searching for scans at the 4 hour level, guess what? You may very well find a scan. Yellow. For which, at the completion of that 4 hour scan, price is supposed to be going up. Well, guess what? It's going to end at some point. And the 15-minute scan says it's going to end here. Now, the question is, this may be a big 4-hour channel. It may look like this. And this reversal here may be nothing more than a correction in the big 4-hour wave. Hit down here and then bounce off. It may be a reversal that breaks the 4-hour channel. But nonetheless, you don't sit there and say, I'm not going to take this trade because it's against the 4-hour trend, which is currently up. So that's the problem with trading with the trend. It's your friend until the bend. And guess what? This entire 4-hour trade that's going up this way may very well be a correction on a big daily wave. And so, oh my, how could I even take this 4-hour move because the daily trend is down? Trend analysis in terms of which way is the trend, again, is an old paradigm thing because you don't have anything else to go on. But in terms of a harmonic scan, it's not relevant what the trend is. Hopefully that makes sense to some degree. All right. Let's just do a quick look at some currency pairs and see what's going on. I thought I was doing that. Nope. That's what we started to do here. Those of you that are new or questioning scans, I posted this the other day with the big Dow drop. Oh. I did it as a... Oh, they've all left me, haven't they? How dare they? Not where I want to be. Well, give me 1 second. Oh, man. Everything's fighting me. So this will give you motivation. If you don't understand the why pitchforks are good. See, pitchforks will give you multiple trades. It's the best setup you can ever do, um, because you'll get multiple trades off forks. Even the 15-minute ones typically you'll get multiple trades. Seriously. Oh, anyway. Come on. Do, 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 do. All right. So, what you, uh, everything going crazy on me. And it's because my memory's running low. Yeah, usually, not the best of pitchforks will still bring you money. So anyway, you get some representation here. So this is a fork from 2 years ago on the Dow. Little swing low, swing high, because you can kind of see where the channel is. Use that swing low, swing high, and you set it with several hits on the median. Okay. Little set on some quad Fibonacci's inside the fork. And almost 2 years later to the day, price leaves the actual body of the fork, and these are warning lines. They're built off the fork itself. And you see the intersection of price stopping right at that warning line. Also, on the fork swing itself, we do a fork Fibo, which is the same thing as an extended retracement of that swing. Extended retracement means we're going to do a retracement. It's going to come back at 100%. We're going to go past that with our numbers, go all the way up to 500%. And we have an intersection of the 500% line with the pitchfork warning line. And there's only one candle that can hit that line because it's a diagonal. And the other day, the Dow hit that line, and that's why you had the drop. And then look where the drop stopped. Right on top of the top of our pitchfork, the upper parallel of our pitchfork. Now see, that's ooh ah. So pretty cool stuff. Okay. So that's the power of forks. 2 years later, giving up the data. Now that's a daily fork, so a little bit different there in terms of, what we get out of it. All right. Hey, look, here's the deal, guys. If you want to see, or if you want me to look at something and analyze a pitchfork that you drew, you have to post that in our group, and then I'll be glad to look at it during the session. But I'm not going to try and recreate your pitchfork while I'm in the session. It's just too too bulky. And right now, today, it's Thursday. I haven't I haven't rebooted my. It's Wednesday. I haven't rebooted my computer, and already just doing the crypto work I'm doing with charts, it's got my computer bogging down. And then I throw something like Wirecast on it. Wirecast is a beast. It's not light like GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting. It's a broadcast studio, and so it eats up a lot of computer resources to do a broadcast session with Wirecast, which is what we use here. But I'll be glad to look at something, if you draw it in advance and post it in the group and just tag me to it and say, hey, Steve, could you look at this during the IML session Monday night, Wednesday night, etc. Give me a little time so I can actually get it on my charts and show you, what you might be able to do better with it. Okay. So anyway, we're over time tonight. A little question and answer session. I've got some goodies on the way, but I've delayed it for a couple of reasons. It's easy for me to do it. It's not like I'm just, bagging on it. I've already done the work to share it, but I'm holding off on sharing it. I need you to, the group that's kind of moving along, that have been with me from the beginning. I need to see certain levels of participation in our group, because I'm not just going to teach when you're not acting on the stuff I've taught, because that's just a waste of my time, because you just can't absorb more without doing the work before we do more training. So I've got some really cool stuff scheduled, but I'm not just going to throw it out there because I've thrown out a lot so far, and I need more participation from the hardcore people that are going to make it, people that are serious, people that are committed. All right. I'm going to tell you one last time, then I'm going to call it a night. You're not going to correct your own mistakes. You're not going to learn to trade on your own. I don't care if you're watching live broadcasts, watching recordings, watching YouTube videos, or whatever. You're not going to learn to trade from that. You have to demo trade, and you need extra eyes looking at your charts. You don't have the head game. You don't have the sensory information gateway growth to be student and teacher that evaluates the papers at the same time. Maybe 1 in 10,000, and I doubt you're going to rewrite history and be that 1 in 10,000. I'm not trying to be derogatory to anybody, but your ego might think you are, but you're not going to do it. You need extra eyeballs. It's once you understand how the sensory information gateway works, there you are. And I'll say this one more time for everybody. The educators at IML do not record the sessions. That is an IML function. We do not record them. We do not upload them. We do not put the links out to them. That is all IML's effort. They have technical staff that does that. They actually intercept my broadcast right here, turn it around, and put it in this live session. We have educators, not just me, but none of them, record the sessions and post them. That is an IML function. So if they're late getting the videos up, I'd write a note to support and say, hey, it's been 48, 72 hours and I still don't have the link for that session. And just get on them. But it's not the educator's job to do that stuff. It is supposed to be up within 24 hours. Yeah, we're going to go, and we moved at a pretty quick pace. I know some people want to go for it, show me this, show me that, and look, the example I've given before is if I give you a 10 DVD set of Tiger Woods, and you binge watch it this weekend, you're not going to go to the golf course on Monday and hit par. It's not just about your conceptual understanding of what's going on. It's not just an academic understanding of what's going on. You have to go and do it, because that's when the mistakes of your lack of understanding will reveal themselves. That's how you get educated. That's why you can't evaluate your own trades. And the way your brain works is it works against you because it's going to convince you the mistakes you made are not you, it's the system, and that's why you system jump. That's why you run to the next shiny object that you see because this one didn't work. I saw a post the other day. I'm not going to name the product or whatever. I took 13 trades and I lost 11 of them. This stuff just doesn't work for me. I like that. This stuff doesn't work for me. No, it's you don't know how to make the stuff work. Because there are plenty of other traders trading that system that are getting 9 out of 10, 9 out of 12, and you're getting 11 out of 13 losing. So what happens is that trader makes a mistake, they don't know what they've done wrong, and they trade more and they get more losses and they don't know what they've done wrong. And so after 11 losses, it must be the system, it's not me. You can't put the scanner into TradingView. The scanner is not a program. Well, it is, but it's not available for you to use it like that. We copy the scans. It's very easy to do. Got videos that show that in the group. Takes about 30 seconds doing it the way I do it. And then you have it because the IML scanner will poof it, make it disappear, expire it based on certain conditions. And see, the thing is, here's the point in all that. This is why we want TradingView. This is why you want to copy the scan. So they put up a scan. A scan appears. Let me say it that way. Um, so a scan appears. What we teach you to do as soon as that D is painted, and you may be in that Charlie Delta trade or not, but as soon as price starts coming down, you can go ahead and do your Charlie Delta pitchfork. And a Charlie Delta pitchfork uses the CD leg, that's the C and the D, that's how it gets its name, Charlie Delta, and a traditional, so it goes back to the X. So I'm going to draw it from the X out just because I want to try and hit the midpoint of that CD. And we have a pitchfork pointing down. And price does this. Comes in a little bit, goes out like this. Guess what happens? The scan is expired. It's taken off. Price, went too far, broke the stop loss, whatever. And then you see price do this. Turns right back around. Maybe it bounces off the top of the fork, eventually comes in, and all of a sudden starts behaving inside the fork. The scan was gone off the chart, off the scanner, but we're still popping trades in here off the pitchfork we drew off of it. It's pretty cool. So that's why we want to get the scan on here. It's good even when the scan's gone that we can see where the scan was. You know, just a nice little pretty thing to help our trading. We can then come back and draw an X-ray alpha fork, off the X-ray alpha line. It'll be a best fit somewhere. And we get trades off that pitchfork. That's why the scan is such a valuable tool. And you're going to get, on average, it just varies, and it depends on the size of the forks, but you could get as many as maybe 7 or 8 trades based off this scan, whereas your average quickfire trader gets his one. All right. Come back on Monday. We will do a trip around the currency pairs. If you have individual charts or pitchforks you want to see, put them in the group. You'll get help in the group. If it's something that I need to tackle, the group will let me know if I don't see it, and I will attack it and help you. That being the case, for you, some of you guys, it's already well into Thursday. Um, we're pushing it here on the left coast of the United States, and so I will remind you, life can be short. So for those people you care and love, let them know you care and love them. I love you guys. I love your commitment. Some of you haven't missed a session since I started back in September. I appreciate the support. Hopefully you're getting some value. No two sessions will be the same. One thing I'll remind you, not that I'm going to be grizzly about this, get to the sessions on time. Be punctual. Don't come strolling in 15 minutes after we've already said certain things and ask us to repeat them and bore everybody else to death because you couldn't be here on time. And look, I know we can't always be on time, but then it's up to you to watch the recording. Doesn't matter, intentional or accident. Everybody else was here. So we're not going to teach it twice because one person, out of hundreds is late. Makes sense. Let's be on time. Just within 2 or 3 minutes. We don't get started right at 9 o'clock. It'll be at 9:01, 9:02. But don't come at 9:02 and then, think you're going to have 2 or 3 more minutes before we start. We're going to go right away. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe. I'll see you next week.